Director Patel was here a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about the emails that went to the FBI agents, meaning, please tell us what you did at the end of the week. Give us 5 reasons why you did. At first, Director Patel said that that didn't exist. Then he specifically said, well, that came from the Department of Justice to the FBI agents, and his words, I told them not to fulfill that obligation. How do you manage that if you give a directive to your director of FBI and he chooses not to fulfill that? And where did that information go? So when someone from the FBI, an agent, fulfilled that obligation of giving you the information of what they were working on, where did that data go and how is it secured?
Yeah, and Congressman, I'd be happy to see who answered that, but I asked, when I learned about it, I asked that it be withdrawn, and it was, that email.
When you learned about the email going to the FBI agents, you asked them to withdraw it. Who did you ask to have it withdrawn?
My entire office, and it was.
So it is unknown who sent that email?
Well, it came from my office, but when I learned it went to the FBI, we asked that it be withdrawn.
The U.S. Attorney General just told Congress she had no idea her office emailed the FBI. Seriously? This isn't a news story. It's under oath testimony. If you want true accountability, not the usual narrative, you're in the right spot. Subscribe to America Disclosed. We expose the hearings the media hides.
Our law enforcement officers, first responders, and local safety agencies are the backbone of our communities. In Northwest Indiana, I've worked hard to bring critical federal grant dollars home, funds that directly support the brave men and women who protect us every day. Unfortunately, funding for 2025 has been rescinded, weakening our public safety framework and making our neighborhoods less safe. I firsthand have a positive impact in securing dollars and investments for Gary, Indiana, East Chicago, Lake County, and Michigan City that were force multipliers that were technology such as license plate readers and the COPS grant. I'm asking you today, what can we do to ensure that those funds are going to continue to flow to my district? And in light of the HIDA, I'm in Northwest Indiana, Gary, Indiana. We are a HIDA district where we have the Chicago traffic. That's vitally important to my district. I just need commitments that that funding will continue to be going forward and that our agencies will have that support.
Congressman, thank you for bringing that up. I'm well aware of the HIDA. I believe that's in Maryville. Is that correct?
You are correct.
And yes, that funding will remain where it is. We do not intend on touching that funding. We want to protect HIDA.
Very good. So in light of the escalation with Iran, part of our cybersecurity and our infrastructure when it comes to our electric grid, our banking systems, that is a new threat. Does this budget reflect increasing our cybersecurity protections, and how is the Department of Justice going to protect our infrastructure when it comes to bad actors such as Iran coming directly at our infrastructure in a cyber attack?
Yeah, we have $50 million for cybersecurity, and also in the one big...
With an M, 50 million?
50 million,
okay.
Yeah, but also in the one big beautiful bill, it is also addressed to give us more resources. And you know, it's not only Iran, as you well know, it's China as well. But
right.
Yes, I wholeheartedly agree with you.
In the reconciliation, tomato, in the reconciliation bill, can you tell me what more resources are going to go towards cybersecurity? Because I was under the impression that was decreased.
Can I get you? I will get you those numbers.
Okay. Yes.
I want to do everything I can to help you protect cybersecurity, all of us in this country, not only, again, with Iran, but also with China and all of our foreign adversaries around the world.
Okay. And then just a question of curiosity that I have. Director Patel was here a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about the emails that went to the FBI agents, meaning, please tell us what you did at the end of the week. Give us 5 reasons why you did. At first, Director Patel said that that didn't exist. Then he specifically said, well, that came from the Department of Justice to the FBI agents. And his words, I told them not to fulfill that obligation. How do you manage that if you give a directive to your director of FBI and he chooses not to fulfill that? And where did that information go? So when someone from the FBI, an agent, fulfilled that obligation of giving you the information of what they were working on, where did that data go and how is it secured?
Yeah, and Congressman, I'd be happy to see who answered that, but I asked, when I learned about it, I asked that it be withdrawn, and it was, that email.
When you learned about the email going to the FBI agents, you asked them to withdraw it. Who did you ask to have it withdrawn?
My entire office, and it was.
So it is unknown who sent that email?
Well, it came from my office, but when I learned it went to the FBI, we asked that it be withdrawn.
Where is the gap of my understanding? If it came from your office, you're telling me you didn't send it?
I didn't realize it went to the FBI. That email went out.
So-
and the purpose of that email was to make sure, just so you know, it was to make sure that these people were sitting at their desk and working and alive, that there were people actually
Okay, and
responding.
I
It
agree.
could have been, I got up and got a cup of coffee.
Sure.
That
So
was
without
the
going into
purpose.
that, the people that did answer it, where did that data go?
I will find out. I will get you that information.
And I only ask as a national security issue as
Absolutely.
they're working on sensitive issues. And I thank you for joining us, and I yield back my time.
Thank you.
What began as a straightforward hearing on public safety funding quickly spiraled into a major confrontation when Representative Frank Mrvan started asking tough questions about the severe impact of federal budget cuts on local law enforcement. Police departments, especially in cities like Gary, Indiana, have relied heavily on federal grants for crucial resources like license plate readers, COPS programs, and HADA, high-intensity traffic area enforcement. However, Trump's budget cuts have slashed these essential funds, leaving local communities more vulnerable and officers with fewer resources to do their jobs. Despite the gravity of the situation, Pam Bondi, Trump's attorney general, tried to reassure the committee that certain programs were still safe, though she was evasive about which ones would remain funded. Her attempts to downplay the issue only fueled more concern and frustration. The tension escalated sharply when Ms. Darvin raised a question about an internal DOJ email that directed FBI agents to provide weekly updates on their activities. The FBI director initially denied that such an email existed, only for Bondi to later admit that it had, in fact, come from her office. However, she insisted that she had no knowledge of it being sent to the FBI. This admission was a bombshell. It raised serious questions about transparency, oversight, and the politicization of law enforcement under Trump's leadership. Bondi's failure to adequately explain how such an email made its way to FBI agents only deepened the sense of confusion and mistrust surrounding the DOJ's operations. Darvin pressed further, asking who had access to the data contained in the email, where it went, and whether it had been properly secured. Bondi offered no substantial answers, only promising to look into it. This wasn't just a small administrative mistake. It highlighted the larger problem of a lack of accountability at the top levels of the Department of Justice. When the highest-ranking officials in the DOJ are unable or unwilling to provide clear answers about sensitive matters, it undermines the public's trust in the institution. The hearing revealed a disturbing trend, the growing politicization of law enforcement under Trump's watch. The Attorney General's office, which should be focused on upholding justice and the rule of law, seems to be increasingly entangled in partisan maneuvering. You can't claim to be a defender of law and order while simultaneously undermining transparency, accountability, and the independence of law enforcement agencies. The chaos within the DOJ is not just an administrative issue. It has real consequences for the safety of local communities across the country. If you believe that this kind of dysfunction and mismanagement has no place in the Department of Justice, it's time to take action. Subscribe to Liberal Lens and help us expose the corruption, the lack of oversight, and the dangerous politicization of our legal system. Together, we can demand that those in power be held accountable and work toward a justice system that is truly fair and transparent. Let's shine a light on this ongoing dysfunction and make sure the people in charge are held responsible for their actions. We break it down, you spread the word. Let's grow this movement and fight for the safety and integrity of our communities.